Hello everyone, my name is Florence with Nana's Exquisite Confections and welcome into my kitchen. Today we'll be preparing vanilla pound cake and berry crumble. Let's get started. All right, today we'll be doing the famous vanilla pound cake, and this cake is a traditional cake. Love it because it's a tender, moist, but dense cake with a lot of flavor. So the ingredients are as follows: just the butter, sugar, eggs, flour, milk, and pure vanilla. So we're gonna combine everything together. And what makes this cake a success is making sure that you're blending everything as you add the ingredient. So we'll start off with the butter. And the goal with the butter is making sure that we whip it. And then when we incorporate all the other ingredients, it will be easier to ensure that everything is all incorporated. All right, so we're starting with 3 sticks of butter, and this butter should be room temperature. You'll get the best effect with it being room temperature. Now I'm using an electric mixer. A hand mixer can be used as well, but I find that for this type of cake, it's best to use a full mixer versus the hand mixer. All right, so we'll start off with creaming the butter. And after the butter turns like a fluffy white type color, then we'll add in the sugar. And again, the success for this cake comes when you thoroughly combine all the ingredients. So take your time. All right, so the butter has reached the consistency that we want it to be. So now we'll incorporate the sugar, and you'll want to turn the speed down every time you add something, because you don't want your ingredients to fly all over. All right, now we're going to slowly incorporate the sugar. And we really want to make sure that everything is all mixed in well. So once you get the sugar in, you can turn up your mixer just a bit. And this is going to be a good time to scrape the sides down. And the key to scraping the sides down, it just ensures that everything is all mixed in. So it'll turn like a fluffy off-white color once everything is all mixed in. And it's important to let the stages of the mixing take place, because if you don't do that, then it'll be a lot of granules in your butter. You want a fluffy, buttery filling. All right, now it's time to start scraping the edges down, the sides of the bowls down, because again, we want to make sure everything is thoroughly incorporated. So you want to make sure that you're turning your mixer off. And if you have a stand mixer, make sure you bring the stand mixer, pull it down, so that way you can get all the sides and the bottom. All right, so we're at this consistency right here. We gotta beat it just a little bit longer. I think it's really based on the room temperature of your butter. So just again, make sure your butter is room temperature. It just makes it easier to mix everything in. And the same holds true for your eggs. If you could just do your eggs in advance, crack them, let them sit, get to room temperature, that will also help with incorporating it with the sugar and the butter. All right, now everything is a fluffy white stage. So now we're gonna begin incorporating the egg. And we're gonna turn the mixer down just a little bit. And you wanna pour in one egg at a time, if you can. And then making sure that the egg is fully incorporated before you add the next one. All right, you can gradually turn up your speed. All right, and the batter is going to be fluffy after all the eggs are all mixed in. I'm going to scrape it down one more time before I begin adding the other ingredients. All right. We're going to give it a few more minutes. And then I'll show you the consistency after it's fully mixed in. All right, once you have your butter, sugar, and egg all fully incorporated, let me give you a bird's eye of ultimately what you're looking for. All right, fluffy and ready to take on the next ingredients. So we'll add the vanilla in next and get that mixed in. All right, once that's mixed in, we'll add in the flour and the milk. And you'll gradually add in a little bit of flour and then a little bit of the milk. And you want to make sure it's on the lowest speed when you do this. And you will need to scrape down the batter periodically just to make sure everything is all mixed in. So it's coming together nicely. We're just about through mixing everything in. And we just have the last of the flour. And you don't want to over mix this cake. You just want to get it all mixed up. We'll scrape it down one more time, making sure that we're getting all the flour and everything that went to the side. We're just gonna scrape it down and do a few more turns, and then that will be it. All right, now that we have everything fully incorporated, we're going to prepare our bundt pans and then evenly distribute the batter between the two bundt pans. So I'm using two loaf bundt pans today, but you know, there's a traditional 10, 12 cup bundt pan that you can use as well. So whatever you have available, just use what you have. And you want to thoroughly coat your pans. And if you don't have the pan spray, You can use butter to spread through the pan, and then flour, and then discard any extra flour that's in the pan. I absolutely love this pound cake. It's so versatile. You can have it with coffee, you can have it with tea, you can have it just plain. All right, want to scrape everything off here. All right. I'm excited about being able to share this pound cake recipe with you. This has been a recipe that's been handed down through several generations. The name of my business is Upscale Yesteryear Desserts. That's the theme of it. So I've done things a little bit differently by using, either canned milk or half and half. It makes it a little richer. So I absolutely love this cake. So many fond memories as it relates to this cake. And you just want to evenly distribute it if you're using the loaf pan. And if you're using the large bundt, it would just be putting all the batter into the one bundt pan. The baking time would definitely be longer. These cakes are baked at 325. For the loaf pan, it will be about 45 minutes to the hour. And then the bundt pan, the larger bundt, would be about an hour and 10 minutes. And the key is making sure that you test it with a toothpick, something of that nature, to make sure that it comes out clean and that there's no dough on it. You don't want to overbake it, but you do want it to be done. You don't want it gummy. We'll put these in the oven and then we'll be back when it's done. All right, the vanilla pound cakes are in the oven baking now, so we're gonna get started with the berry crumble. And the berry crumble is a mixture of strawberries, blueberries, and blackberries. And this is fresh fruit, but you're welcome to use frozen fruit as well. It all works the same because it has to be cooked down. You just get the benefit of using seasonal fruit, when it's fresh like this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna saute it down with sugar and cinnamon and nutmeg and a little lemon juice. There's nothing like a berry crumble. I mean, you get all these beautiful berries, and it's just beautiful. Flavors are intense. And enjoyable. And it really doesn't take a lot of sugar because you really want the berries to be showcased. So be sure to taste your berries before you start adding the sugar, because you don't want it to be over sweet. You want it to be enjoyable. We're gonna put in our lemon juice. And then we're going to add a little butter. And that will definitely make it a lot richer. You can add vanilla to this as well. But again, you just really want the berries to be the star of the show. So you're mixing that in, and then your thickener. You can use cornstarch or flour. If you don't have cornstarch, you can use flour, and that will thicken it as well. And you just really want to get that all mixed in. And then it will begin to bubble. And we don't want to cook the berries down to mush. We want them to have texture, but you do want them to be, want it cooked down so everything can be mixed in. All right, so while that's happening, we can start on our crumble. And the crumble is a mixture of flour and brown sugar. You got cinnamon and nutmeg and butter. And really, it's just all gonna be incorporated in a bowl. And then you'll smash it. You can use a fork. You can use a wire spatula, or you could just use your hands, your clean hands, and mix it through. And the goal is you're going to mix it through, and you want large clumps. And I'll show you what that looks like. So you're taking your butter and you're mixing it through the dry ingredients. And I like my crumble about pea size. I don't like it sandy. I like it pea size, and that way when it gets on the crumble, you got some texture, and it doesn't melt in the berries as it's cooking. And another tip too, when you make the crumble, try to make it in advance, because if you refrigerate it and let it get a little firm, it'll stand the heat a little better. So the crumble will be more intense versus melting out because of the butter. And I like to use the brown sugar versus the granulated sugar for this, because it makes it more caramelized, and the crunch of the crumble is it's more intense. So it's a matter of preference, but that's why I use the brown sugar. All right, the berries are cooking. We got the crumble, working with that. And this is ultimately what the crumble is gonna look like. Nice clumps. All right. All right, looks like our berries are all mixed and cooked through. So now it's time to assemble. All right, I'm just gonna release some of this crumble off my hand here. And this would be a perfect dessert if you wanted to do something with your children in the kitchen, making sure that they have their clean hands and they know that the hands don't go in their mouth. They just keep it in the crumble. Well, we've cleaned up our workspace and now we're ready to assemble the crumble. So the berries are they're nicely cooked down, and you have a nice thick juice here. And it doesn't have to be super thick because it's gonna cook in the oven again, so then that will help thicken it up as well. So the assembly is just pouring the berries, carefully pouring the berries in your dish. Right, and you're going to spread it through. You want to make sure that you got your berries evenly distributed through the pan or through your dish. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. A celebration of berries. All right, and now we're gonna take this beautiful crumble and we're gonna get it all on top here. You're gonna have wonderful butter and brown sugar all crisped up on top of it. So after it bakes and it cools, there should be just a little bit of a crispness to it when you bite into it. I absolutely love berries. My grandmother had a blackberry vine. Excuse me, blackberry bushes and grapevines, but we would pick the blackberries and go inside the house and make a pie or a crumble. So I absolutely love working with berries. And for this recipe, I did not put in vanilla, something that I generally do, but I just didn't do it this time. But vanilla does enhance the flavor, so I would say use it if you have it. This is our beautiful berry crumble assembly, and so now we'll get it in the oven. We'll bake it on 350, and then we'll cook it for about 45 minutes. And then afterwards, we'll do a presentation of plating. All right, we have the berry crumble in the oven baking. So while that's happening, I wanted to show you how you can garnish your berry crumble. So it's just a matter of putting your whipped cream. I use heavy whipping cream, vanilla, and powdered sugar. We're gonna combine all of that into a blender, let it mix until it's thick, and then we have our whipped cream so we can top our berry crumble, and you can use that whipped cream to top the pound cake if you would like as well. So let's get going here. Nowadays, you have pre-made whipped cream. You got, I don't want to name names, but pre-made whipped creams that are in the store. That was something that was a no-no at our house. It was always heavy whipping cream in the refrigerator. And that's my grandmother's way of doing things. It's got to be the real thing. All right, we're gonna get going with this. Now, it does not take long at all to mix this up, to turn it to whipped cream. So you have to be careful, because if you over mix it, it will turn into like a churny like butter. So you just wanna check it to see where you're at with the consistency before you continue to keep blending it. And depending on what kind of blender or food processor you're using, it can go a lot quicker. I mean, you can even use a regular mixer with the whipping paddle. And if you're gonna go that way, make sure the bowl is peeled. All right, just a few more seconds and we'll be just about there. You want the consistency to be like Cool Whip, except it's the real thing. All right, I think we got whipped cream. All right. All right, our whipped cream is done. Came out better than I expected. So now we're gonna wait for the berry crumble to come out, and we will top the berry crumble with the whipped cream, and then we'll do some embellishment for the pound cakes. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So we have our finished berry crumble and we have our finished vanilla pound cake, and we're gonna just do some quick garnishes for the pound cake and the berry crumble, so you could just like pretty it up just a little bit. So with the pound cake, yeah, you can make a glaze, but in the interest of time, sometimes you want to put something together real quick. We'll just garnish with some powdered sugar. All right. And then we'll top it with some beautiful berries. These are fresh berries, and to get the glaze on the berries, I just use a little Karo syrup, something to give it a glaze so they won't look so dull. And you just put it across your loaf there. We certainly want to wipe our plate really quickly for presentation purposes. All right. And then we'll put some fresh mint on there. All right, and there's your pound cake. And then for your berry crumble, we want to get that homemade whipped cream on there. So you just want to dish it up. Get a beautiful bowl. It helps with presentation for sure. Now this is piping hot right out of the oven. You want to give it some time to cool for it to set. And we're going to put a dollop. It's a nice dollop of whipped cream on there. All right. And then put a little mint on there for a beautiful garnish. So today we've done vanilla pound cake and berry crumble. And they're garnished, just real simple garnishes that really class up the dishes. I'm so excited that I was able to present these to you today, and I certainly hope that you'll give them a try. Again, my name is Florence, owner of Nana's Exquisite Confections. You can find my website, and I hope that you give these dishes a try. I know you can, so do that. We'll see you next time.